Hey, good morning. Hi. It's too early for this, right? I think it's too early. Hi, Sarah. It's too early. The babies are sleeping, so I thought I better take advantage of it. Hi. Oh, somebody might be coming down the hall now. Good morning. The little children are sleeping. Yeah, I wanted to just go ahead and jump on because Ashlyn, they were up like from 3 to 7, and they're kind of stirring around a little bit now, and I was like, you know what? We could be in for like a totally fine day or a totally cranky day because their sleep has been disrupted, so I thought I better take advantage of the quiet time now and just go ahead and get on here. So thanks for coming. I honestly could not. Yeah, I was like, this may be the only quiet time we get today. So you better grab it. And I think we were in the section of, yeah, we were just wrapping up the, oh no, just trying to find where I was. Tristram Shandy chimes in. So we're on the Big Magic book today. My name's Michelle Wolf, and you can find me at caddyshackdesigns.com. I think I finally reached 700 followers that are not porn stars. It's taken a while. All week it's been like, porn bot, porn bot, porn bot. And then back to 697. Porn bot, up to 700. Bounce, bounce. Thank you. Thanks, Michelle. But it seems like real people this time. Which doesn't matter. Right, it doesn't matter. It's fun. So Tristram, that's a hard name to say. Tristram, Tristram, Tristram Shandy chimes in. Point of justice. I'm just going to say this. You know how terrible things happen, and sometimes they're related to you and sometimes they're not. Some terrible things happen to a couple of people and I'm just going to say, Adams County, Colorado, has a very crappy DA right now, which I can say that because I don't work there anymore. I don't even live in the same state. The district attorney that they have in that county is awful, and has been awful to people for years. And one of the women that was treated badly by that administration decided to run against him. Not for long. Yeah, you guys are almost done with him. So he is a tyrant and a despicable person all around. One of the women that he walked out of the building, who's one of the most powerful, intelligent, strong attorneys, prosecuting attorneys that, she's right up there. And he railroaded her and walked her out. She came back this year and ran against him and mopped the floor with his ass and got like so many delegate votes that he's not even going to be allowed to go any further. Yes! A little teeny bit of justice. He has a little tiny loophole where he can get some, he has to go door to door to get some signatures to be on the ballot or to go any further, whatever the hell that political process is. Just a point that she is getting her justice and the people of Adams County will benefit from that. And she's handled it in a very classy way. She never publicly said anything. She didn't complain about how she was handled, not publicly. Very, very classy. And so my point is, justice sometimes does come around for women. So there you go. A moment in time of justice by a woman in a position of power. Yay! It's completely out of context, but I just wanted to say that. Yay! Sometimes it happens. And sometimes you get to be the one to deliver the justice. That's the beautiful part, is she gets to be the one to say, you walked me out and tried to ruin my career. And instead, I became a magistrate or a judge or something in a different county. And then I came back and served you your ass on a platter. Hello. Take that. Yes. I'm sure there's lots of them happening that we aren't aware of. And we should celebrate each and every one that we hear about. So I don't think he will even be on the ballot. I don't think he can garner the signatures needed to get himself any further in the race. That's right. Oh. A moment of justice. So, try to present to yourself to your creativity as if you are sexy. That's a loaded word. As if you are somebody worth spending time with. Do you do that? Do you treat yourself as someone worth spending time with? I don't know if I always do. I've always taken delight on this point from the novel Tristram Shandy, written by Lawrence Sterne, 18th century British essayist, novelist, and general man about town. In the novel, Tristram presents what I see as a marvelous cure for writer's block, to dress up in his finest regalia and act all princely, thus attracting ideas and inspiration to his side on account of his fabulous clothes. Specifically, here's what he claims he would do when he was feeling stupid and blocked, and when his thoughts would rise heavy and pass gummus through his pen. Instead of sitting there in a funk staring hopelessly at the empty page, he would leap from the chair, get a fresh razor, and give himself a nice clean shave. How Homer could write with so long a beard, I don't know. After that, he would engage in this elaborate transformation. I change my shirt, put on a better coat, send for my last wig, put my topaz ring on my finger, and in a word, dress myself from one end to the other of me after my best fashion. Thus, decked out to the nines, he would strut around the room, presenting himself to the universe of creativity as appealingly as possible. Up-level my clothes and jewelry as a muse. Yeah, it's a really good practice. I don't think that I take advantage of that practice as often as I could, and probably should. A charming trick, but best of all, it actually worked. As he explained, a man cannot dress, but his ideas get clothed at the same time. And if he dresses like a gentleman, every one of them stands presented to his imagination. Good morning. I suggest you try this trick at home. Yeah, and I've heard that, dress for the position you want to have, not necessarily the position you have now. Like you said, up level your appearance for where you're heading, rather than, matching your peers. I suggest you try this trick at home. I've done this myself sometimes when I'm feeling sluggish and useless, and when I feel like my creativity is hiding from me. I'll go look at myself in the mirror and say firmly, "Why wouldn't creativity hide from you, Gilbert? Look at yourself." Dress for the level of prosperity you want. That's actually really good advice. I never actually thought of it that way. That's pretty good, because now that I'm not in an office and I don't aspire to be an administrator of anything except my own work, then I don't think in terms of that anymore. But that's actually, although that book, the Tidying Up book, The Magic of Tidying Up, or whatever that book is that we've all been picking at, that one has really forced me to throw away like the clothes that are just like, really, Michelle? Come on. Those t-shirts should have been gone years ago. So I have finally gotten rid of those, and the t-shirts that I have that are I love them, but they have like a stain that won't come out, probably from a steak or something. Then I just, I finally just was like, this doesn't reflect abundance at all. We really don't have to dress like a street person. The quality, the quality of your sheets, the quality of your clothes. People will see you as richer than you are, then you get that energy. It's really well. Like if it's not Well, I loved, it really resonated with me in that book how she has you hold every object in your house or in every piece of clothes. And if it doesn't bring you joy, then it doesn't belong in your life. For some reason, that really stuck. And so I've been using that, and because it's really hard for me to get, as I like textures. So the softer a t-shirt gets, the harder it is for me to get rid of it, even if it looks horrendous. I was going to say horrendous and hideous. Even when it looks horrendous. Now I'm taking after Tanya's son Porter and combining words. Yeah, what brings joy? And if it's horrendous, get rid of it. It doesn't belong in your life. I kept one, like, super soft t-shirt. He'll be so proud. Yay, Porter. He's taught us the ability, economy with our words, and a higher level of description by just shoving them together. I actually think I might take another run at my closet, thinking of it this way. I like this. So, yoga pants and clearance shirts from Old Navy. Not anymore. Clearance shirts from Old Navy are really addictive. They're like $5 and they're super soft. But yeah, that shouldn't be my daily uniform. And I'm prone to that too. I'm prone to this, wearing yoga pants just forever. Because they're so comfortable. But you can be comfortable and still be classy. Yeah, there's a time and a place. I've been thinking about Karen Datz about how yeah, well, you could dress it up with some jewelry. But although, everybody has their stuff, and politics is a rough game, and even the people who make it in politics are a little fucked up in the head. You have to be to survive in that world. But she's handled herself with such class that that word classy has been coming up a lot, and I was like, my Minnesota shirt that I love that has paint splashes on it, it's not too classy. I might want to consider letting that one go. Hi, Kim. Gosh, Kim, you're up early. Oh, no, it's Central Time, right? It's not that bad. The West Coast people are probably still sleeping. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so I clean myself up. I take that goddamn scrunchie out of my greasy hair. I get out of those stale pajamas and take a shower. I shave. Not my beard, but at least my legs. It is early for Saturday. Yes. I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning. I've already been down here since I got here at 5:30. I've already gone shopping, got coffee, got Morgan off to work, and waiting for the babies to wake up. But they woke up at 2 o'clock too. It's weird. Time change garbage. So, I put on lipstick, and I never wear lipstick. I clear my desk of its clutter, throw open a window, and light a candle. I might even put on perfume, for God's sake. I don't even put on perfume to go out to dinner, but I will put on perfume in an attempt to seduce creativity back to my side. I missed that last comment, something about early. Whoever's got the yellow color. Coco Chanel, a woman who doesn't wear perfume has no future. And she's classy, so she should probably know. Coco Chanel. That's Morgan's hero and has been for a long time. Perfume. Forget it. Our perfume is essential oils, right? So we always smell a little bit like hippies. Yeah, essential oils perfume. Although I do have some, that perfume with the Julia Roberts commercial. La Bella something Frenchy expensive. French expensive. I wear it sometimes. It smells good. Okay. Have fun at your oil event. Have fun. What a great way to spend a Saturday. I hope it's really successful in however you want that to be. I always try to remind myself I'm having an affair with my creativity, and I make an effort to present myself to inspiration like somebody you might actually want to have an affair with. Not like someone who's been wearing her husband's underwear around the house all week because she has totally given up. Okay, I haven't I haven't gotten so bad that I've been wearing Heath's underwear. I couldn't wear his underwear anyway. Have you seen how skinny he is? But still, I am still washing underwear. So I'm not at the bottom. I am still washing my hair and wearing my own panties. Although I do wear his old cotton boxers on my head because that holds your curls together. For those of you with curly hair, in case you didn't know that. It's the only way to go to bed with wet hair and wake up with anything you'd want to have on your head. Okay. I put myself together from head to toe, and then I get back to my task. It works every time. Oh, yeah. It is TMI. Ah, totally is. I'll own it. Let's see. Fake it till you make it is the trick sometimes. Dress for the novel you want to write is another way of saying it. Seduce the big magic and it will always come back to you the same way a raven is captivated by a shiny spinning thing. That's really cool. I like that image. The same way a raven is captivated by a shiny spinning thing. I never thought of it this way. I never thought of creativity as being something to present myself to and for. I never thought of it that way at all. Let me just get rid of that. I like that idea a lot. I know that I do better when I get up early in the morning, not 2 a.m., but when I get up early and I have the mindset of going to work, even though I'm at home, if I just have that mindset, I get a whole lot more done. I'll get more writing done. I get more, pieces of projects come together in my head a whole lot better. So let's see if we can get through one more chapter before those childrens wake up and send me running for the day. Fear in High Heels is the next chapter. I was once in love with a gifted young man, somebody who thought I was a far more talented writer than me, who decided in his 20s he wouldn't even bother trying to be a writer after all, because the work never came out on the page as exquisitely as it lived in his head. He found it all too frustrating. He didn't want to sully the dazzling ideal that existed in his mind by putting a clumsy rendition of it down on paper. While I beavered away at my awkward, disappointing short stories, this brilliant young man refused to write a word. He even tried to make me feel ashamed that I was attempting to write. Did the dreadful results not pain and offend me? He possessed a more pristine sense of artistic discernment, was the implication. He sounds like a big fat jerk. Exposure to imperfections, even his own, injured his soul. He felt there was nobility in his choice never to write a book if it couldn't be a great book. He said, I would rather be a beautiful failure than a deficient success. Hell, I wouldn't. The image of the tragic artist who lays down his tools rather than fall short of his impeccable ideas holds no romance for me. I don't see this path as heroic, right? It sounds cowardly, doesn't it? I think it's far more honorable to stay in the game, even if you're objectively failing at the game, than to excuse yourself from participation because of your delicate sensibilities. He got himself a case of the vapors and he couldn't possibly write a book. I think it's far, in order to stay in the game, you must let go of your fantasy of perfection. So let's talk a moment about perfection. Yeah. He sounds like that was like a really perfect excuse for him to not break a sweat and face his fears. Screw that. Yeah, it's terrible. That's a terrible way to live. The great American novelist Robert Stone once joked that he possessed the two worst qualities imaginable in a writer. He was lazy and he was a perfectionist. Indeed, those are essential ingredients for torpor and misery right there. If you want to live a contented, creative life, you do not want to cultivate either one of those traits, trust me. What you want is the opposite. You must learn how to be a deeply disciplined half-ass. I might be close to that. It starts by forgetting about perfect. We don't have time for perfect. In any event, perfection is unachievable. It's a myth and a trap and a hamster wheel that will run you to death. The writer Rebecca Solnit puts it this way. So many of us believe in perfection, which ruins everything else, because the perfect is not only the enemy of the good, it's also the enemy of the realistic, the possible, and the fun. Perfectionism stops people from completing their work. Even worse, it stops people from beginning their work. Perfectionists decide in advance the end product is never going to be satisfactory, so they don't even bother trying to be creative in the first place. The most evil trick about perfectionism is that it disguises itself as a virtue, right? We can get kind of self-righteous about it. In job interviews, for instance, people will sometimes advertise their perfectionism as if it's their greatest selling point, taking pride in the very thing that is holding them back from enjoying their fullest possible engagement with creative living. They wear their perfectionism like a badge of honor, as if it signals high taste and exquisite standards. But I see it differently. I think perfectionism is just a high-end, haute couture version of fear. I think perfectionism is just fear in fancy shoes and a mink coat, pretending to be elegant, when in fact it's just terrified. Because underneath that shiny veneer, perfectionism is nothing more than a deep existential angst that says again and again, I am not good enough and I will never be good enough. It's perfect, right? Fear in fancy shoes and a mink coat. I don't want to spend time with people who are stuck, people stuck in perfectionism. That means I'm going to not feel comfortable to talk about my mistakes and shortcomings. And if I don't feel comfortable in facing my own mistakes and shortcomings, I won't. Then I can get paralyzed and I need to keep my forward momentum, which means owning my imperfections. Plus, perfectionistic people are just kind of a drag to be around, right? It's too much pressure. You can't ever make them happy because they're never happy. They're never happy with themselves. When I used to do, I worked at the Colorado State University Police Department. When we did interviews, we asked people what their biases were. It's kind of a trick question. Biases as far as against other people. So we didn't use the word racism, but that's actually what people were getting at. The interview panels wanted to hire people to work in the police department who were aware of, or at least willing to be aware of, their own personal biases. Because if you didn't even have a hint that you had some, then that's like too much work for a police department to have to take on, that kind of personal development. You have to be aware of which populations you struggle with so that you can continue to work on those issues when you're coming into contact with a widely diverse population, as what you find on a college campus. So when someone said, oh, there's nobody, I'm not, I don't have any biases about anybody, I'm fine with everybody, we were like, out you go. We don't even want to deal with you because we need to send you to therapy first. So, I like that description. Perfectionism is a particularly evil lure for women who, I believe, hold themselves to an even higher standard of performance than do men. There are many reasons why women's voices and visions are not more widely represented today in creative fields. Some of that exclusion is due to regular old misogyny, but it's also true that all too often, women are the ones holding themselves back from participating in the first place. Holding back their ideas, holding back contributions, holding back their leadership and their talents. Too many women still seem to believe they are not allowed to put themselves forward at all until both they and their work are perfect and beyond criticism. There's a little dove here right outside of the French doors. I don't remember ever seeing a dove in her backyard, but that's cool. So interesting, right? All week we've been talking about finding our stories about and beliefs about either being not allowed to create what we want to create, or not deserving of, not worthy of, not allowed to. Right? Perfectionism takes way too much effort and time. I am way too lazy to get caught up in perfectionism again, because that takes an enormous amount of energy. And I'd rather spend my energy talking to you, or writing a book, or doing any of the other things that I do during the day. Playing with toddlers takes so much energy. I don't have any to spare for perfectionism. Please. The best thing that ever happened to me was when my need for approval fell apart, and that was years of work, years of process. And then the last job I had as a sex assault response team coordinator, when people openly hated the project, I would leave those meetings and cry all the way home. It was so horrible. But, the gift I took from it is it knocked it out of me. The last little bit I had when I started that job, it completely got rid of it. When people are openly hating on you and deliberately trying to hurt your feelings, you learn how to get over it pretty quickly. So, putting forth work that is far from perfect rarely stops men from participating in the global cultural conversation, right? They don't care. Not all of them. Just saying. And I don't say this as criticism of men, by the way. I like that feature in men, their absurd overconfidence, the way they will casually decide, well, I'm 41% qualified for the task, so give me the job. Yes, sometimes the results are ridiculous and disastrous, but sometimes, strangely enough, it works. A man who seems not ready for the task, not good enough for the task, somehow grows immediately into his potential through the wild leap of faith itself. I only wish more women would risk these same kinds of wild leaps. So the supervisor I had at the last, formal job I had, her name's Terry Livermore, another outstanding, powerful, amazing woman, such a great role model for me. And she had the same attitude I had, and I found out after getting to know her that a lot of times we took jobs because we were like, well, why not? What could it hurt? Before I interviewed for the last job I had, I was Googling what it meant. I didn't know what it was. It sounded like something I could do, sex assault response team coordinator. I was like, well, okay, well, let me just Google it, see what that is, and I'll put in my application. I'll read about it, and then we'll go from there. And I had to learn a lot. I spent 6 months learning what a sex assault response team coordinator actually was after I'd already been hired. What could it hurt? We actually talked about having t-shirts made, like, what could it hurt? What could it hurt to try? Can't hurt anything, usually. I've watched too many women do the opposite. I've watched too many brilliant and gifted female creators say, I'm 99.8% qualified for the task, but until I master that last smidgen of ability, I'll hold myself back just to be on the safe side. If you are a person saying that, please stop it. Now, I cannot imagine where women ever got the idea that they must be perfect in order to be loved or successful. Ha ha, just kidding. I can totally imagine. We got it from every single message society has ever sent us. Thanks, all of human history. But we women must break this habit in ourselves, and we are the only ones that can break it. We must understand that the drive for perfectionism is a corrosive waste of time. Corrosive waste of time. Because nothing is ever beyond criticism. No matter how many hours you spend attempting to render something flawless, somebody will always be able to find fault with it. There are people out there who still consider Beethoven's symphonies a little bit too, loud. At some point, you really just have to finish your work and release it as is. If only so that you can go on to make other things with a glad and determined heart, which is the entire point, or should be. I'm going to say that one last section again. We women have to break this habit in ourselves. We are the only ones who can break it. We're the only ones. Yes, we got these messages from culture and schools and parents and teachers and coaches and whatever. It's not our fault that we were limited. It is our fault if we don't do something to release those limitations. That's our fault. Okay? It's not our fault that we got hurt, but it's our responsibility to fix it. If we want to fix it. So we can't sit around and say, oh, if only this, that, or the other, then I would create. Or if only this were perfect, then I could put it out there. That is, that's garbage that we use to hide. We hide ourselves with that kind of garbage thinking. Nothing's beyond criticism. Every single thing you put out in the world, someone's going to criticize. I guarantee you someone criticizes me every day for something. And I know that because my face is out there in the public, the teeny little, the periscope window of public, which means somebody opens my scope every single day and has something shitty to say either about what I'm talking about or how I look, or how I say things, or my personal mannerisms, or the shape of my glasses, or somebody's saying something critical about me every single day, guaranteed. Guaranteed. It has to be. Because that's what we do. We criticize the shit out of each other. So if I start the day knowing that someone's going to criticize me, then I know it's happening and I just go on. Yeah, I remember, but you're not that way anymore. I remember you started out that way last summer, but you're not that way now. Now you're feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's not like that fear goes away. You just do it anyway. So before I start a scope, I know someone's going to bitch about what I'm doing or how I look or how I'm doing it. And so it's okay. So whoever's watching that's critical today, kisses and hugs. Yeah, Linda, the more trolls, the more popular. And as if trolls are a measure of any kind of yeah, come on. Somebody's hating on me every single day. And it's not stopping me. And it never will. So there you go. So just know. That's right. You can kiss my badonkadonk butt. Just know it's happening, and then you're already prepared for it. So when you hear about it, it doesn't catch you off guard and ruin your day. You're like, oh yeah, I already knew that. Next. What do you want to talk about now? Please, not politics. Do you want to talk about the fact that tea lattes at Starbucks are loaded with sugar, which I did not know, and it tasted terrible, and I drank it anyway. Because I haven't had coffee since I got sick. Side point. But you know what I'm saying? You already know people hate your work. Somebody hates your work. Somebody hates how you look. Somebody's got something shitty to say about what you're wearing. Okay. I know it, so go on and put your work out there then. It's not going to kill you. It'll hurt your feelings for a few minutes, and then you'll get over it. Because there's other people that love what you're doing and love what you're wearing, or pay attention to the message rather than what clothes you have on, or what size you are, or how you look, or how you sound. It's fear. Our perfectionism is the fear, the excuse we use to get out of doing what we came here to do. Right. There's nothing that everyone likes. Nothing. Some people don't like chocolate. It's scandalous but true. So pep talk yourself. Get yourself together. take a chance, put your work out there, knowing you're going to be laughed at. And it's not going to kill you. Yeah, if you want to trace it all the way back, it's fear of dying outside of the tribal walls. If you want to go total existential, it's fear of death. Fear of death and dying after being kicked out of the tribe and left for the coyotes to eat. Okay, but we know that's not true, so it's not a valid excuse anymore. Perfectionism is not a valid excuse anymore because you know better than that. Yep. So, we must understand that the drive for perfectionism is a corrosive and colossal, I would say, waste of time. Nothing is ever beyond criticism. It doesn't matter what you do, someone's going to find fault with what you do. At some point, finish your work and release it as is, if only so that you free yourself up to go on to the next one. And if you just produced a crap product, whatever that product is, a book, a drawing, a poem, a presentation, a PowerPoint, whatever it is, if it's garbage, well, at least you've released it and now you can go make a different one, a new one, a better one, whatever. You're not going to get better till you put your shit work out there and then go on to make the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. My early drawings, even some that sold, like for actual cash money, look like garbage compared to what I'm doing today. So that means 5 years from now, my bye, have a great day, will look like garbage compared to what I'm doing today. So, it's not fun to get criticized. It's not. But it's not going to kill you. Great! Great, Linda. Oh, aha moments. Perfect. That's why we're all here together every day, so we can periodically each have an aha moment. Or two. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to save my energy for those Twinkie Dinkies when they wake up. So they're approaching 2 and pushing boundaries lately. You're a blessing to me. All of you are. This whole thing has been a blessing to me. So August 29th will be a year with only 4 missed scopes. So we've all changed a lot since last year, since last summer when we all met. And for new people coming in, stick around and you will change. This group changes people. Yeah, we've all come a really long way. And to me, it's the daily practice. It's daily showing up and saying, I'm going to take a look at myself today. Daily showing up and saying, I know that I am putting some roadblocks in my path and I want to know what they are, even if it hurts. No matter what the cost. I want to know how I'm slowing down my human development. Okay. I love you guys very much, and thank you so much for the hearts. If you're watching the replay, save your fingertips. They don't hold. People can give me thousands of hearts on the replay. It doesn't change the total at all. I love seeing them. It's very motivating for me. If you're on the replay and you don't feel like you want to tap, you sure don't have to, because it doesn't change the total anyway. Oh, our artificial methods of measurement. Thank you. Blessings to you. Have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And I will see you tomorrow for more Tao Te Ching and Byron Katie talk. And today I will put those charts in the Facebook group. Goodbye. Enjoy your day. Go create something, please. You're welcome. Oh, I need to make sure I'm following you. I'm missing a comment. Okay, I gotcha. Oh gosh, Nina. We're just totally wrapping up. Enjoy the replay. The twins are going to wake up any second now. So I jumped on super early and ruined it for my West Coast people. Our West Coast participants. Twin days, that's the beauty of it. All right, love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.